Hello, welcome to episode 54. And if you had not seen episode 53, I highly recommend you listen to that one first. I would like to do a continuation. I will try to fill you in, but it might be best if you have the time to listen to that one first. All right. So what I'm trying to do is do a series on opening our minds to the doorway that the words pure awareness could bring us. I've had a recent befriending of that word. It didn't mean much to me earlier. I think it was last week that a wave of friendliness came over where I saw in a way there isn't a better word. So last week, I took you through in a shorthand way, because I've done this before, bringing you back to all the stages of your life, just from memory, your current you, the things you prefer, the things you resist or stay away from, either certain kinds of annoying people or certain kinds of icky food to you. Just kind of connecting with how your person is these days. And then going back to 15 or another age, and going back to 5, you had different thoughts. Your body looked different. Your thoughts were different. Your feelings were different. And you felt different because you had a different maturity. Your brain was different. And yet, wasn't there something that was still you? Even though thoughts were different, feelings were different, the body is different, was different. And yet, use your name. Weren't you always Lynn? Weren't you always David? Weren't you always Rosalind? Something. I know recently people have been saying, no, I've been different me's. Well, yeah, you're kind of caught up with your personality and your looks. But if I said, was there a Kim? Did you always respond to Kim? I think that person would say, yeah, something. So, what is it that knows that you've always been something that's not your mind, which are your thoughts, not your personality, which are your thoughts and your feelings, certainly not your body sensations? Now, there's an awareness that's close to the personality. You could say it's the observer that said, oh, you attacked that person. We're good at developing that observer in ACIM, Course in Miracles. And non-dual has you notice definitely, we don't say responsibility because we don't believe that there's that word believe, which has a lie in it. We're very clear there isn't a separate person. So only a separate person could be responsible. But thoughts come and go, and we take accounting of them, acknowledgement. We're not bypassing, oh, I had an attack thought, or, oh, look, I was very loving, either, whatever it is, without joining it and saying yay or nay, just noticing. But that noticer does In ACIM, you're directed to choose again if you had an attack thought. And in non-duality, you don't touch it. You don't even think there's a chooser. So there's less need for guilt and shame. Acknowledge it. If there's something to do, there's that local awareness that checks in. Is that the ego mind, the small mind, that's saying I should say I'm sorry? Or are you being directed to do something? So that's pretty much what lesson 53 took us to. And we, not lesson 53, episode 53, and we went to lesson 38. But today I'm going to look at lesson 41, and awareness goes with you. We have to take away me. Awareness goes wherever. So let's take out the me and the I. Awareness goes, awareness is, God is, I am. Those are all the same. So let's go back to our new criteria. And the criteria that we're going to play with is what is aware that there is a sense of your always being you. Something perceives that, something notices that. You could say, well, that's my mind. Well, is it in your head? Have you seen it? Have you felt it there? Maybe it's not in your head. Your head is full of changeable thoughts. Your head is your thoughts and your feelings, your personality, your separate self. This thing that doesn't change, we could call it an energy. Let's just go to what knows, even if you think it's your mind, that your mind that knows there's always been a you. Does it have preferences? Can you find it somewhere? Does it have a size, a color, a gender, an age? Probably not, unless you're locating it in your body as a you. But now let's go to our lives. Let's see if we can find anything in this world that doesn't change. Oh, I love you forever till death do us part. Well, we already know how many people get divorced and pretty close to hate each other before they get divorced, or else part amicably, and so they say. So that's a given, everybody knows. So feelings we know change. You could say, if thoughts and feelings were truth, we would call them facts. That's going to be part of my new brand. I love that slogan. The rest of my brand is going to be, because I have a new portal, a new website that has to be created for the book that's coming out. And people want a brand before they make a website. And so what's my brand going to be? From imagined unworthiness to freedom. And I might have underneath that, if thoughts and feelings were truth, we'd call them facts. What do you think? Does that resonate with you? It feels like what I'm all about now. But it's not a me that's a person. It's been the ride that I've been on. And just like you're on a ride, whether you have a job, whether you have no job, what you're interested in is what Source wants for you. That is your domain. That is your ministry. That is the extension of your embodiment. Your life is being directed. Of course, says there's an individual curriculum for each of us. And somebody might think that's exciting or that's not exciting, but that's just opinions. They're all the same. So getting back to what the lesson is, what is there that's not changeable? Can you find anything in the world? Seasons change, weather changes. You can't hold on to a feeling. They all change, they all move. Even if you love that feeling, you can't hold it. If you hate it, you can't hold it. Feelings change, that's their nature. Thoughts change. In 90 seconds, if you don't touch that thought, you'll have a new thought. They've shown that in science. So have you thought of anything that doesn't change? Houses get old, everything ages that's in this world. But there is that thing that's you that didn't age. The body ages, the mind, personality ages, but there's something else that doesn't have an age. Again, non-duality means one being, not two. So the one being is us. God is us. We are God. God is us. We are God. You are God. I am God. We are God. We are us. We are life. Life is us. It's all the same being. Course says there's only one problem, only one, a belief in separation. Well, how do we not separate if we start with God? We say, oh no, God is the greater. Oh no, God is the creator. That's that imagined unworthiness. Again, the Course was written before the psychological concept of shame came out. So the Course calls it guilt because the Course spoke to us and speaks to us in our language. And so far, Helen Schuckman hasn't come back to rewrite with modern words. So these are the words we have. There are people who are rewriting the Course, and that's good for the people who need the new words. So great. Let's see what lesson 41 has to provide us. It says, and let's substitute awareness and see if that word isn't comprehensive, doesn't get us out of going back to the little I. That's the problem. When we go back to the words God or I or me, we go back to the old lies we've been telling ourselves. So pure awareness goes. Pure awareness is. Pure awareness lives. Today's idea will eventually overcome completely the sense of loneliness and abandonment all the separated ones experience. Let's just stay with that beautiful idea. Let's try it on and see if it could be real. What would your day be like if you knew that you were living the one being? how would it affect your sense of doing? You would still be pushed to do the things that are your life. Would you not want to do it to reflect the divine? If you are the embodiment of what you used to believe God was, and now you knew it was the one being, you, I awareness. What if today, every time you said I awareness? I won't ask you to do what my mind just said. My mind just said, instead of saying, God, what if you said I awareness? I know that's too far, but maybe there's somebody out there that's ready to play that far. We say we want the full understanding, we want the enlightenment. I finally get all experiences change. So you don't necessarily want the enlightenment to come as an experience with crashing, shining, blasting lights and music and all the things you thought it would come with. Because that's going to go. And you'll be spending the rest of your life trying to get it back. Because that's the nature of experience. But what if you step into it where your small mind uses the logic that's the pointer that I'm offering you? The pointer just points to the door. Now you have to yourself decide to take it. Does it seem logical that there is an entity in you that's longer than your age, more permanent or more stable or more knowing or more one than the sense of you that has always been here? If you could even remember your birth, it would still be you, I'm guessing. What is that? That's what the Course says was never born and won't die. It's now all making sense if you let it. If you want to stay in confusion, it's readily available. The ego mind likes to be confused. It loves to question. It loves to not get it. What can you not get? You are the oneness. You're part of everything that ever was and ever will be. You're the divine. You're even the person that doesn't exist, the one that is embodied in a body and is playing as the person for now. We're part of everything that's temporary as well, because everything is made up of pure awareness. Remember, there are not two. That means everyone. I love the way the Course says you cannot get anywhere alone. Or maybe it just says the kingdom of heaven. You have to come two by two. I love that part of the Course because we want to get ahead with our understanding. That's still the separate self. That's judging you. That's the local awareness that's saying, oh, you're getting this, but that one's not getting it. We're so much further ahead. You can't get there still believing you're a separate person, and that person is not you. What a gift the Course is in that way. So let's go back to lesson 41 a little more. It says, deep within you is everything that is perfect, ready to radiate through you and out into the world. It will cure all sorrow and pain and fear and loss, because it will heal the mind that thought these things were real. And suffered out of its allegiance to them. You know, we spend a lot of time, all of us, when we're studying the ego, we're kind of putting ourselves down because we think we are this personality. So the one that we're talking about is a perceived us. And here, look at how loyal we are to this perceived self, how we hold on. We're pretty amazing. In spite of being shown that there is no chance of control, that we're being lived, we're very persistent. You could say we're stubborn, but that would put a different ring on it. And usually we admire persistence. What about if we were persistent and consistent about following the pointers? A friend of mine from Britain named Jenny Beale, she's actually not a friend of mine. She feels like a friend of mine because I love listening to her. So she's a friend of my heart. I don't actually know her outside of the internet. But she tells a story about pointing to a treat for her cat. And the cat only looks at her finger. The cat is not looking at the piece of cheese she's put in the bowl. And that's what we do. We evaluate the pointers. If the pointer is a doorway or a portal and we like it, are we walking through the doorway inside the other door? So I'm going to challenge you now. Will you, after this video, even for 5 minutes, set the timer? Every time you have a thought, I'm going to do this, I should do that. I don't care what the thought is or the feeling. Would you be willing to repeat it? Pure awareness. Say, I should do that. It will be kind of funny because pure awareness doesn't speak that way. And if you want to keep it that way and still do it, even though pure awareness doesn't speak that way, it really is all part of the play. Everything we're doing is part of everything that is. And so it all ultimately is part of pure awareness. So play, but utilize the pointer. Now, if you say, this is garbage, what she's talking about, or I don't understand it, that's the favorite. The favorite is, I don't understand it, because that keeps you just where you are. You could say, my mind doesn't understand it. The mind doesn't understand it. But let me try it anyway, even though I don't understand it. Say, I, pure awareness, whatever you're going to say. That would be walking through the door. That would be owning what? What would it be owning? It would be owning that you are something more than a body, more than what is temporary. You are something eternal. You are something, an energy that represents contentment because it wants and needs nothing. It is already complete. It is not an age. It is not a gender. It has no preferences. And it is not separate. So it has no problems. Are you willing to do something we're willing to do in the world? Are we willing to walk through a portal? You don't have to understand to repeat the words I, pure awareness, or I awareness every time you say I, and see if just that little thing can open up. What would you be opening up? Your belief in your separation, your belief that you are this separate person, belief in your problems, a belief in the things you wish to change that are unchangeable or are not going your way. Your resistances, your preferences, they would all go away because you would be a lover of what is. You would be entering the now. Won't you come with me? I'm inviting you. I'm inviting pure awareness that is appearing as me. Let's go there together. Let's meet there together. How do you feel about being challenged? Do you like to just kind of go on saying you don't understand and you're still separate and you don't have the experience and most of us enjoy complaining to ourselves, even if we don't complain out loud. Most of us like, oh, I need to lose 10 pounds, or I need to gain 10 pounds, or I need to stop judging, or I need to get a job that makes more money, or I need to be home more with my family, or I need to do more chores or less chores, or I need to be appreciated. Need, complain. But are you ready to give it all up? Are you ready to be what you are, the one being? Is it work? No. It's actually less work. It's a lot of work to maintain a separate self. You got to complain all day. You got to do. You got to judge yourself, judge everyone else, and you got to have a lot of problems that there are to fix. Would it be boring to be in the oneness? No, because you're still in life, and life is still in this world ever changing. So you don't have one static thing to be in, but you bring the oneness with you to whatever it is you're doing. So I invite you to join with me in that field, the field of oneness. And we'll meet next week. Bye-bye.